Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the regular council meeting of Tuesday, March 9th. At this point, I will call it to order. As always, we are pleased to be here today on the traditional territory of Treaty 6. We acknowledge all those who share a deep connection with this land. The city of Beaumont respects the histories, languages, and cultures of all of Canada's First Peoples, whether they be of First Nation, Métis, or Inuit descent, and appreciates that their presence continues to enrich Canada's vibrant communities. We are all treaty people. We do have one proclamation today as we get going. It is the International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination on March 21st, 2021. And whereas the city of Beaumont is committed to the belief that equal opportunity and equitable treatment should exist for all people, and whereas every resident of the city of Beaumont has the right to realize his or her potential, regardless of race, color, cultural, or ethnic origin, and live at all times in conditions of dignity, respect, and peace. And whereas in 1966, the General Assembly of the United Nations designated March 21st as the International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination. And whereas the elimination of racism and racial discrimination can be accomplished through mutual understanding, acceptance, and respect for the dignity of all people and rights of all people. And whereas the elimination of racism and racial discrimination is the social and moral responsibility of each person. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Mayor John Stewart, do hereby proclaim March 21st, 2021, as International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination in the city of Beaumont, Alberta, dated this 23rd day of February, 2021. Thank you very much. All right, I do know we had one addition to the agenda that came late. It is on the package that got accepted. Is there any other changes to the agenda? Ms. Winter.
Thank you, Your Worship. We did have one addition to item 4A, the Better Beaumont Dog Park Council handout, which the agenda has been updated and council has received the documentation. And then also we do have an addition of item 8A, the event opportunity for the National Road Cycling Championship. All information has been distributed to council and the agenda has been updated.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Can I get a motion from a member of council to adopt the agenda as presented? Councillor Barnhart.
So moved, Your Worship.
Discussion on the motion. Seeing none, call the question. All in favor? And that carries unanimously, which brings us to the consent agenda this evening. I move that council consent to approve the following agenda items without debate. Item 5A, special council meeting minutes of February 18th, 2021. And item 5B, regular council meeting minutes of February 23rd, 2021. All in favor? Go. I don't think it got cleared from the last time. So waiting for me appears. Oh. And it all cleared. Can I get it? Call the question one more time on the consent agenda. And that carries unanimously. Appreciate that. Okay, so we do have one member of the public for the open forum, Mr. Mike Lemoyne in the Better Beaumont Dog Park. Ms. Winter.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'll just let him in right now to the meeting.
Good evening. Can you hear us? Oh, still on mute. There we go. Still on mute though.
On mute.
There we go. Now we can hear you.
Everybody hear me?
Yeah. Welcome to council. Yeah. Welcome to council this evening. Floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm just trying to share my screen here. I'm not really sure how to do that. I'm not much of a computer guy. Share screen.
If you go down to the bottom of your screen, you'll see a pop-up and it's green and it says share screen.
Okay, can you see that?
I haven't got it yet, no.
And then you'll just click on the document that you'd like to share.
Oh my goodness. Sorry, one sec. I'm not much for technology.
There you
Does
go.
everybody
You're
have
sharing. Yes.
There we go.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and councillors. I'm here on behalf of the Better Beaumont Dog Park Committee. Here we go. On average, 40% of Canadians are dog owners. And with COVID pet adoptions, it's gone through the roof. Some of these pounds of rescues are getting upwards of 200 applications per animal. And as Beaumont keeps growing, our dog park just keeps getting smaller. And Beaumont has one of the lowest amounts of allotted area for a dog park in any of the towns we've looked at. And using the calculation, comparing surrounding areas with the number of dog owners per acre of land that are allotted for dog parks, we can see that Devon, which has 17 acres of dog park, works out to 158 owners per acre. Leduc has 40 acres of dog park, which works out to 304 acres or owners per acre. And Beaumont has, with the expanded 12 acres we're looking for, even with that, would have 610 owners per acre. But everybody we've talked to about this would be more than happy with the 12-acre parcel. People are just not happy with the small 4 acres of land. Everybody we talked to in the dog park community is very excited about a new dog park. But as soon as they come up with the 4-acre proposal, people are just unhappy with it. And in the last 2 weeks, this group has generated a lot of buzz with the Canine Council election. I don't know if you guys have heard of that or not. With the local media, word of mouth, and for the addition of the reserve land for the park. The Facebook campaign we ran alone has reached over 4,000 users in the last 2 weeks, 45% of them in Beaumont and 35% in Edmonton, with 740 engagements. And that's just on Facebook, not including the Instagram. And that's less than 2 weeks. We have an outpouring of support from the residents, both writing and verbally. And we have lots of local support from the businesses in town that are really interested in an expanded dog park and the business it can bring to them. This is a win-win for our community and council. Benefits of an extended park are it brings a lot of people into town. Dog park people like to go from town to town to check out the different parks. So when they come here, they get to check out all the other amenities that Beaumont has to offer, and they see what the town looks like, they see what it has to offer, and the town grows on people. So it's nice to have. It keeps dogs out of other places, at a Ball Diamonds, at a Four Seasons. You know, there's lots of problems with the dogs running around down in Four Seasons and the dog waste. A nice big expanded dog park would get rid of that. For the dogs themselves, dogs need a big area to socialize, and it's less reactive for dogs when they have a nice big area. The small dog park we have now, when you're over there, a dog comes to the gate and they all bum rush the gate. And then usually that can cause problems, right? Dogs can get growly and fighty and stuff. Dog parks are not seasonal. They're a year-round thing. But they're a great amenity for the city. Also, people don't have to go to dog parks elsewhere. All last year, I spent the whole winter driving into Leduc to go to the dog park. Why not just use it in town here, right? A good Beaumont dog park gets noticed and gets lots of buzz about it. With a good large space, it creates opportunities for pet events. Like they do massive pet events at parks where they set up vendors, they sell tickets. It turns into a real nice thing. You can do that here in Beaumont with a nice expanded park. Now, the city itself collects licensing for approximately 3,000 pets that are registered, 3,000 registered pets, which works out to about $90,000 a year. Pet owners are not seeing a return on those funds at all. When I pay taxes, we get stuff in return for those taxes. For pet licenses, you get nothing in return for that. And it leaves a bad taste in people's mouths. Residents should not have to leave their community to go elsewhere to go to a dog park. And a dog park is a great community. It's a great selling point for people buying a home, for a young, vibrant community. It's a big selling feature. I'll leave this on a positive note because I feel like in the last 3.5 years, I feel like the mayor and the council have done a fantastic job of running this city. We've got lots of expanded stuff, the new recreation center. There's been lots of really positive things going on here. I really would like to see this multi-use area go with a big bang. Like after this 3.5 year tenure, this is the final crown jewel on top, right? I think it'd be just fantastic. And I just want to thank you guys. I just want to thank you guys for your time. I really appreciate it. Questions?
No, yeah, thanks for coming in. We really do appreciate the passion that's gone into this. And I don't think anybody on council is going to sit here and argue that a dog park's not needed or warranted. And that's why the dog park is actually part of the proposal for the West Recreation Area. And it's going to be currently scheduled at 4 acres to be 4 times the size of what's currently allocated. There is one thing that keeps coming up in your presentation, the $90,000 and the 3,000 pet licenses. I checked on that today because it sounded high. There's actually about 1,000 licenses and about 30K annual revenue. So I don't know where the 90,000 revenue came from, but the information I got from administration was about 1/3 of that on a day-to-day basis.
Okay, well, I got that information from the town myself, so somebody actually must have given me the wrong information.
Okay, either way, it's still a significant sum. And I just don't want to do it. And I did see a letter that got sent, and you had a couple questions in there. And I'm looking forward to seeing the results of the Canine Counselor. I think that's awesome. I think it's a great program to help bring awareness to the dog park. And quite honestly, I'm looking forward to swearing them in. So it should be fun. You asked about a rough timeline for completion of this project. It's council's intention that this project is going to go ahead in this construction season. And since this is primarily an outdoor thing, construction season from my days before politics usually runs from April, May, if you're lucky, to end of October when the snow flies. So this project is going to get completed in that window somewhere. Actual construction timelines will come when the tender goes. You also asked for a decision on at our next committee of the whole meeting on whether or not we were going to designate the extra 8 acres to make it into a 12-acre park. That decision will come hopefully in April when the tenders come back, because I'm going to be straight with you. It's all going to be based on cost. The cost of the diamonds, the cost of the dog park, the cost of the extra 8 acres. This may have to turn into a bit of a phased project because I don't think anybody wants to see a small dog park. But it's all going to depend on costs and what comes back with the tender.
If I can interject on that for a second, I think the dog park is something that can actually generate a little bit of revenue, let's say with bringing in vendors and stuff. And there's lots of user groups that are willing to go the extra mile to fundraise, to do the work, to volunteer, you know what I mean, to put the stuff in themselves. So this isn't something that we're just willing to we're just, looking for the city to pay the whole thing and do nothing. We're willing to go the extra mile on this, right?
Oh, and that's awesome. We're more than happy to participate in a partnership. I mean, we got one going with Baja right now. We're talking to both the Blitz and Beaumont Minor Ball about some others. So we're more than happy to sit and work with you. But I just wanted to temper some expectations. We are looking at a 30% cut in capital revenues from the province over the next 3 years, and we got to balance that off against all the competing entities.
I understand that you got to balance the books and stuff, right? But this can also be done in stages, right? The main thing is to get this land, right? Like you don't have to seed it all or tree it all. Or, it doesn't have to all be done at once. This can be done over multiple years, right? Like we just get the land for now. We have a starting point.
No, appreciate
and I understand that's a big. I get it, right? But I think you have two massive user groups here, right? Like you have the baseball players and you have the dog owners, and I think this could be a real win for you guys, right? For the end of this term, is to come up with, a big hit.
Yeah, no, and we appreciate that.
Run.
Yeah, no, and like I say, I don't think you're going to get any arguments from us that we want to do this. It's just, I just want to temper some expectations. But yeah, no, it's a great project. I'm excited about it. But anyway, I'll open it up to other members of council for if they had any questions or comments.
Okay. Thanks so much, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah. I don't see anybody else. So anyway, there we go. Steve, Councilor Van Newkirk.
Yeah, sorry, Mayor. I was fighting for my raise hand button there. And and Mike, thanks for coming in and presenting tonight. And, kind of an extra special thank you to, the group that has brought this all to life and put this campaign together and, started working on organizing and getting some support for, you know, a nice venture like this. And I think you were waiting your whole presentation to say that it was going to be a home run for everyone. So congratulations.
I had that in my back pocket.
Yeah, I knew it was coming. So yeah, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yeah, like I say, appreciate the passion. Let us know how the election goes, because it would be,
Will do.
like I say, it would be fun to swear the counselor in, and go from there. But yeah, it's a great project, and I hope we can get it off the ground shortly.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. You guys have a good night.
You have a good night. Okay. It's always fun to talk about fun. Brings us to item 6, the public hearings. We have none. We have 2 registered presentations this evening. We have a job boards and tourism initiative discussion. I believe Ms. Gary is here from the Leduc and Wetaskiwin Chamber.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'll just let her in right now.
Welcome to Beaumont City Council. Appreciate you coming in tonight to present these two items. And I know you and I had a chat a little while back about it, and so I'm excited that we can present these 2 items to council. So Jennifer, welcome to council, and the floor is yours whenever you're ready.
Yeah, great. Thank you for welcoming today. So I'm Jennifer Gary's Executive Director of the Leduc and Wetaskiwin Regional Chamber of Commerce. We recently adding Nisku into our bucket of areas that we represent. But yeah, thanks for having me. Most of you already know me, but we're excited to present today. So I'll just share my screen here. Alrighty, so we're here to present on, we're going to start on the tourism side. So we started the Discover Leduc Region Tourism Initiative back at kind of at the late part of 2019. We really kicked it off. I'll just move forward here. We really kicked the initiative off kind of the beginning of January of 2020. And just with our original initiative, we presented to Leduc County and to the city of Leduc, realizing there is a gap in tourism in this entire region. And so there isn't even a visitor guide, there isn't an online presence. And so businesses were kind of trying to do their own, economic development agencies were kind of trying to do their own. So we thought as a regional body that we're in a perfect position to lead a tourism strategy. So I know you have the slides here. I just added a few things at the end on the job connector side that we didn't have before. But so here it is on Discover Leduc. You've probably seen some of our emails and read through. I think most of you have also been on our website for that. But our deliverables and starting, of course, it was kind of from the inception of, we need to start a website and get all of our social media in place and reach out to all the assets in the region. And so again, when we first started this, it was with Leduc County and the city of Leduc. So these are all the things we went through. It was kind of an odd time to start a tourism initiative without any of us realizing, with COVID and the pandemic. And so when we launched, it was difficult timing because it was good timing to get our assets in place and reach out and do all the strategies we could do, but with, we're all going through those closures and openings and closures and restrictions, but we pulled it off this year. So we're excited for where we've gotten to. So here's just a glance. So this is kind of just a 2020 year in review. So we with our asset region, we're kind of in that 2,600 square mile radius. We have 375 assets that we're currently working with, and 4 municipalities showcased under that umbrella at this time. So our discoverleduc.ca is our website. We do a monthly e-newsletter, industry support. So we support our assets also on the industry side, especially this year with everything going on and how we can help them mitigate through their openings and their closures. Marketing initiatives, we do digital marketing ads. We've done a direct mail campaign. We've done a gift guide campaign. Our social media accounts, so we have 240,000 impressions, 17,000 engagements, and 2,500 fans and followers. So these are all stats from 2020 again, and since now leading into 2021, those stats have even grown more. So this is just a quick at a glance. I know you have this in your package, but just from kind of starting off in January of 2020 and then kind of launching, letting the region know what we're doing. So through our e-newsletters, we did our website launch back in June, did a direct mail campaign out to the region, actually down out to the residents, so they're aware of what campaign this is all about, so they can take part in. We then launched our interactive map of the tourism destination locations. Our industry hub launch, which also included industry events, so lots of virtual training and that kind of thing. Sorry, I think I have a click on here. There we are. Kalmar and Devon joined in August. So last summer, they joined the initiative. They actually reached out to us and they saw the initiative and wanted to be part of it. So that's how they came about into the group, into the initiative. We featured back in September, we had Travel Alberta come and we did a partners and packaging event where tourism assets could look at unique ways of packaging together in packages to sell. You know, if one can offer a dinner and then the other can go and participate in an event, those types of things, especially during the gift time season of Christmas and that. We launched a gift guide campaign. We've done a lot of multiple other campaigns since then, focused on different, we've done kind of a men's shopping campaign, a women's shopping campaign, everything about your pets, which is, you know, following after the last presentation. So we've done a lot of different themed events like that. And then back to our social media fans and followers. So, and that's quite strong. So this is our website. Since launching, we've had 12,000 page views and 5,000 plus visitors. I'll just click through quickly, but of course there's a whole bunch of different drop downs, food and beverage, parks and recreation, golf courses. This is our interactive map. Date night under the stars. So we're really promoting those types of events that can happen now. So we're very current on what our assets are doing, what our municipalities are doing. Will be now that as things hopefully will open up in the summer with even the Blues Festival, those types of things we can start to really promote on this website. Feature discovery. So these are, again, unique, fun blogs that we've done in different campaigns. So date night with Leduc Region, Valentine's Day, who's doing something special for that? Where can they go? So just, you know, really highlighting those unique opportunities for people to get out and see. Just letting people know, again, how to support local, 8 unique spots that will have you loving lunch. So all these kind of unique boutique destinations outside of the kind of the larger franchise brands that we all know of. Again, in last minute Valentine's Day gifts. So this is our website traffic growth. So our monthly page views and our monthly visitors. So again, these are our 2020 stats on our monthly hits, which you can see from June to December, how much, I mean, 140%, our monthly visitors are up 422%. So the stats are really good right now. Website traffic again, interesting to note. So 84% of our hits are coming directly within Canada, but we're still getting US people checking out our areas and our destinations. So 11% is from the US. Edmonton's 27%, so we're creating that draw from Edmonton coming out. Of course, our staycations are local, Leduc, Niski, Beaumont, that kind of thing, who are checking out as well. And then also Calgary. So that's interesting. People are checking that out. So, I mean, we can assume that probably now with, you know, vacations in the province, staycations and that kind of thing, that we are getting local people coming out to check out other destinations. And we call them One Tank Tours. We're actually excited to brand that. It's not our brand. Many people have said One Tank Tours, but it's really that idea of filling up your tank and where can you go? What places can you see and still get back home on one tank of gas? All right, and now here we are with our e-newsletter. So again, we send this e-newsletter out to our industry businesses. So we have 5,500 contacts we send out and 6,900 plus openings in 2020. So it goes out, that's gone out monthly. We feature different tourism assets. Again, we theme the e-newsletter depending on what type of year it is and what is happening. Again, our most recent was doing a Valentine's Day type theme and what you can do for that. Our open rate's really good. It's at 25% for those e-newsletters. So if you base 25% on 5,500, I mean, that's a really great open rate. just our social media platforms. So right now we have 2,000 plus Instagram followers, 500 plus Twitter, and 400 plus Facebook fans and followers. And even through all this, I mean, we've done fun contests where we really get the residents involved from all around to participate in different campaigns we're running. These are other marketing initiatives. So again, I've talked about our direct mail campaign. We've done radio interviews on 93.1. For a while, we were doing them every 2 weeks, just as an update on different things that we had on the go with that. Our gift guide campaign, 46,000 impressions on that, 4,500 plus engagements. I mean, that the viewership is more than we could have imagined in starting this. And again, that's not even wait till hopefully, COVID will be lifted this summer and then people can really get out and open up their retail, open up their restaurants, and really participate with those assets. And also our digital ad campaign with 138,000 plus impressions. Industry support. So again, we're not just supporting the residents in fun activities they can participate in, the shopping. We really want to ensure that our assets are taken care of and they have the supports they need. And so we do a lot with that. And especially through Travel Alberta, we've done different events now where we bring in Travel Alberta in the question and answer platform where they can really ask what they need to do on the social media side. Again, the packaging side, how do they package their events? How do they promote their events? Their ATIS listings. So how do they get recognized on Travel Alberta if they're not on already? Google listings, we've done a course on that for our assets, just so they can make sure that their information's up to date. They can change their hours when they need to on their own without having to use another party to do that. Our industry hub launch was in August of 2020, and we're continuing to update that as we go as well. We also created a brand guide and toolkit. So again, this is really putting the information into their lap. And so if they're not really tech savvy or anything like that, this is available for them to use and the content to share. This is just kind of a quick testimonial from the 4 different regions that we work with from our tourism assets. I won't read them out unless you want me to, but probably isn't time for that, so I won't. It's in your package. Yeah, so I know we're presenting on 2 different things, so I thought we could stop at this point and just ask questions while we're current into the tourism side, if you do have some.
Yeah, no, great idea. Thanks. This is a great program. Really exciting to see that these kind of initiatives going on in the region. So we'll open it up to questions from members of council on this tourism initiative, if there are any. Nope, seeing a thumbs up from Bill. Seeing no request to speak. So I guess we'll just keep plowing forward.
Yeah, just reach out. I mean, reach out to me on email or that, and we can go through anything if you have questions later. So we are also coming to present on our job connector. And this was, I'll just move forward here. This came out of, actually, we applied for the LMP grant last year. So the labor market partnership with the provincial government. And so out of that initiative, oh, sorry, just moved it back here. Out of that initiative, we were to host an in-person job fair. Well, this was all, again, pre-planned before COVID even hit this world of ours. And so out of that, we flipped into this online initiative, into this job connector page. And again, we're promoting local jobs. And since we've launched, we've had 32,000 hits to our local jobs. And literally those are local jobs within our region. And so that is incredible to see. And we're seeing people are applying and they're seeking local candidates. And so it's been such a good opportunity for our business community. On the other side of that, it's also helping our businesses because again, we offer those support services back into the businesses and on the training side, accessing co-op students for labor, all of our wage subsidy supports that the federal and provincial government has released. So those have all been matched on our website as well. So it's kind of bringing the two together. So it's bringing the job seekers onto our local page as well as the businesses to have a platform to hire local employment. And so, yeah, so we couldn't believe how well that went. And now, of course, the labor market partnership has ended and we wrapped up that event, but now this is a long-standing initiative that we'll carry through and continue to build on. So this is where we're working with 6 different municipalities on this initiative. So the City of Leduc County, Town of Kalmar, the Town of Millet, the County of Wetaskiwin, and the City of Wetaskiwin. So those jobs are kind of in that whole dual region radius. Do you have questions on that, or can I?
Well, no, that's a great initiative. And has there been a lot of uptake from local businesses?
There's been so much, and again, I kind of almost like with the tourism initiative, it just keeps, doubling, and the momentum keeps going. And it's very surprising to note how many local jobs there are. And it's anything, I mean, it's heavy duty mechanics, it's, Arctic Spas is hiring. I mean, it's all sorts of industry. It isn't just one, it isn't just one job. And so we'll probably see now with the restaurants reopening and that kind of thing, a lot more that will utilize that platform for that. We've brought in HR lawyers to answer any of the labor questions. We've done other industry events around this. We also did a hiring event. So what can employers ask in an interview, and what can job seekers expect to answer in an interview? So we're really working on both sides of this with the job seekers of local labor as well as the business community.
No, I appreciate that. It's a great initiative. And I think in this day and age, especially in the era of COVID and the economic downturns that we've been having in relation to oil and gas and other industries, I think it's a critical program for our region. So very happy to see it.
Yeah, we're doing an event on the 25th, and that's bringing in the internship program. So again, that's we're bringing in NATE and Norquest and Venture for Canada. So all of those types of co-op programs, again, that our local business community can access for labor.
No, and I appreciate that. Are there any questions from members of council? Comments? Quiet bunch tonight.
So I just have one more slide here. Okay. And so that's our opportunities page. So this is again for the business community. This is highlighting our municipal through the Alberta Purchasing Connection and what businesses can apply for and put their bids in. So bids and tenders of what everyone has on the go. I mean, sometimes I think businesses don't always know where to look when municipalities have local postings of opportunities that they can bid on. So we always share that with our business community, as well as member land for lease, land for rent, land for sale. And every municipality has that. And so we really promote, and even local businesses for sale and that opportunities. And of course, I mean, with oil and gas and with people pivoting their roles and that kind of thing, we really want to highlight, I mean, that succession of selling a local business to a local resident. I mean, it's such a good, successful news story. So we really like to highlight those local businesses for sale as well.
Nice, that's awesome. These are great. So I guess my question would be is how do we get these programs opened up to residents and citizens of Beaumont?
Yeah, so we can present a proposal to you. For the Discover Leduc region, we would ask for $15,000. We have a full-time dedicated staff person for that initiative. So for everything that we did last year with that entire initiative, and that's including our marketing and our expenses, it costs us $70,000 to do that entire, but literally we do everything. We reach out to the assets and we get them involved and we do the blogging, social, like everything. It's a kind of a one-stop shop. So that would be our ask to join the tourism initiative for 2021. And then for the jobs, the job connector and the labor local jobs and that kind of thing, we would ask for $3,000 for the year to be involved in that with us as well, including the opportunities page.
Okay, that's awesome. Sounds fairly reasonable. I did see Councillor Van Newkirk's hand go up and down. Did you want to, Councillor?
Hey, you bet. Thank you. Just a question on the job connector. How are you guys promoting that? I'm always on social media and looking around and liking and following and doing all those things, and I had never seen it before.
Yeah. So
wondering how are you promoting that?
Yeah, so we reach out to our membership and our business community. So we send out, so if you're on our mailing list, we reach out to you and just see if you have opportunities available. Many that have promoted their jobs before always just know now to send them to us. Even through our job connector e-newsletter that goes out, whenever we send that out, we get many businesses coming back. We also do research of local jobs through Indeed and Kijiji and all those postings. So we make sure that we are including those ones as well to drive traffic back to the website. And then we let the businesses know that we're supporting them in that sort of way. Also through economic development, I mean, working with our local municipal economic developers, they share information with us as well. And they also share information too on the attraction piece side. So if a business they know of is for sale or that kind of thing. So it's kind of through a whole bunch of different multiple researches, but we also do send it out through social media. So we'll make sure that you get those connections with us.
Yeah, and so there's lots there, but what is the primary way that job seekers would find this job board? What would you
Yeah,
say?
just through social media and sharing. And again, when we send it out to the business community, it's surprising. I mean, with the amount of hits that we've had, that people are finding it. We've done all sorts of advertising through digital marketing and we've done Pattison signs. And so we're really just promoting that job connector side. We noticed too that a lot of people are sharing that with their family and friends if they have family and friends that are potentially laid off or looking for a new role or that kind of thing. So it's in all sorts of different ways. As we continue to build our list.
Yeah, it's cool. I just pulled it up quick and I see there's 135 jobs posted right now. So yeah, that's a good collection. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I do appreciate that. Are there any further questions or comments from other members of council? Okay, so I think these are great initiatives. So I'm going to make a quick motion that we accept this report for information and refer it back to our administration to seek out and talk to you a little bit more about what this could look like for us and bring it back to you eventually.
Sounds great. Yeah, great to see everybody. But yeah, reach out if you have questions. Oh, yeah, see you, Sam.
So I will get discussion on the motion. We're going to call the vote here.
Oh.
Okay, seeing none, all in favor? And that carries. Looking for Councillor Stout. That carries unanimously. Appreciate that. And yeah, great presentation. It's nice to see the great work that that the Chamber in Leduc and Wetaskiwin, and I guess now Nisku is working on. So it's great to see. And thank you very much for coming in tonight.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. See you.
Uh, 6:40. Okay, so our next registered presentation is the Beaumont Blitz Basketball Association.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'll just start letting them in right now. I just wanted to confirm with the presenters that they can hear us and see us. If you can turn on your cameras. Thank you, Brian and Corey. I just would like to confirm, did you have another presenter that was coming in this evening?
Yes, Ryan, actually.
The last name?
Hopefully on that. Bloomfield, I believe it is.
Okay, I do have one other person in the room that I will admit, but it doesn't have that name.
So is this everybody that we're supposed to have?
Brian, are you on?
I do have Brian here.
So, well, you got Brian, Trevor, and Corey.
And Ryan.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, the name
Yeah,
just
it's
changed.
actually Ryan, not Trevor.
Perfect, thank you. We
Name
have
just
everyone.
changed.
We have everyone in attendance, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'd like to welcome you to our council meeting this evening. I did have a quick preview of the slide deck, so very exciting things. And so we will. I won't steal any of your thunder. We'll give you the floor, and we'll go from there. We just get everybody to do a quick intro, and then you can just get right into it. And Brian, you're on mute, buddy.
There we go. My bad. Sorry. All right, let's try that again.
No worries. It's the story of my life.
I just wanted to say thank you, Mr. Mayor, for allowing us, and council members for giving us this time here to present our association to you guys. Tonight we've got Corey Callahan. He's our past president, and Ryan Bloomfield. He is our vice president right now, and I am the president of the association. Yeah, we just wanted to give you a quick thank you, and I'm going to let Corey just take over for a couple of minutes here and give us a little bit of history of who we are.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. So thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. So just a little background on Beaumont Blitz Basketball Association. So we actually began as a division of the BMBA, the Beaumont Minor Ball Association. And then in about the fall of 2017, our membership actually kind of wanted a little more and wanted a little more identity for the girls to have kind of their own association. So it was at that point in time that we discussed with the NBA and made an amicable split between the Beaumont Blitz Association and the BMBA. And we kind of went our separate ways to really try and develop a program that was centered around the girls and around the fastball program and more into the fastball community. So that's a little bit of the history. I was the director of softball in the BMBA before we split off, and then I took the role as president for the last 3 years until this year, and then I handed the reins over to Brian. So with that, Brian, I'll turn it back over to you.
Okay, thanks, Corey. Yeah, so with that little bit of history, since we split off, we've been promoting our fair play, respect, and active lifestyle for the girls. We have primarily focused on ladies fastball in the last few years, considering hopefully in the future, once it grows a little bit, to jump into the male side, but we'll see. Part of our program is bringing in world-class training and college instructors, athletes, coaches, anybody that the girls can really look up to and see, wow, this is where we can go, and this is what is coming for us. With those world-class people, we are focusing on our skill development, gameplay strategies, and just things like that. And with all that being done, we've actually done fairly well in the last few years in the cities, provincials, and other tournaments. So it's actually very, very promising at this point. With our registration numbers on the next slide there, we have grown very quickly, and we have gone 32% growth from 2018. Unfortunately, last year our season had to be canceled, but we still did end up playing in our cohorts, and the girls were very successful, had a lot of fun. This year we're already at 100 plus, and we're hoping to reach about 160, 170 girls in our registration. I'm going to let Corey talk a little bit here about the player development and advanced programming here.
Sure. Thanks, Brian. So as Brian had kind of alluded to, so one of the big focuses for us over the last several years has been both the recreational stream as well as the competitive stream. So there are a number of girls in our association that just want to come out, play a couple games a week and have a practice and just do it for exercise and to have some fun with their friends. There are some other children or some young ladies and young athletes that are taking it a little bit more competitively and they like the competitive stream a little more. So with that, we've been able to offer some really good off-season training. Funny enough, with fall, everybody thinks that winter is off-season, but we don't really have one. Thanks in part to the fact that we've got some fabulous training facilities, both in the city with the Turf Training Center and now with the Beaumont Recreation Facility in the field house. So, and we've been really taking advantage and using that opportunity to use that facility as often as we can, and getting in there with the girls. I was in there Sunday with our winter camp, and it's a fantastic facility. So really impressed with that. So some of the training opportunities, affiliations we do have, we have a pitcher, actually a pitching instructor who is actually a world-class pitcher herself and was senior women's champion. That's Miss Rhonda Walker. She's actually a member of our association as well, and her daughter plays with Beaumont Blitz in U10 area or category. We've got catchers training with certified instructors, and then we do a fall and a winter camp. So we have a lot of opportunities throughout the off season, if you will, for these athletes to train continuously throughout the year. Some of the additional things that we've been doing and I've been part of over the last several years is there's a group out of Saskatchewan that actually comes into Edmonton quite regularly. The head gentleman there is a gentleman named Keith McIntosh. He's actually a Team Canada Junior National team champion or team coach. He's several-time Canadian champion softball player, fastball player. We've also engaged Austin Wasserman. He's a U.S. throwing specialist, works a lot with colleges down in the United States, works a lot with high-level athletes down there as well. Mark Smith, again, on the pitching stream, Team Canada coach. He's come into Beaumont, worked with Mark a couple of times in the Edmonton region, and Becky Monahan as a batting instructor. So Becky actually just came back to Edmonton. She was down in Kansas City with the Kansas City Jayhawks playing, I believe it was Div 1 college fastball down there, which is the highest level of college softball down in the U.S. So, and she was on a scholarship down there. So pretty exciting group of trainers that we have, and opportunities for the girls to train with these world-class professionals. So we really want to give them the best opportunity to kind of hone their skills and make sure that they're fully supported by us and our association and the town, so, or in the city part.
Yeah. So with that being said, with all of our investment into the specialty coaching and the world-class trainers and all that good stuff, we have been able to develop our A program in the last couple of years that has allowed our girls to compete in a very, very competitive league division. This year, we're expecting them to travel all throughout Alberta, hopefully if COVID allows it, fingers crossed. And GPLS, which is a great girls Prairie League softball tournament. They travel all throughout Alberta and Saskatchewan, and hopefully if we do well in provincials, that we can qualify for Westerns with some of our U14 girls. So it's going to be a very good year, very exciting. We have a lot of young talent, and it's all coming into play for us here. So having the A League in Beaumont has stopped some of our players transferring out of Beaumont, just because Softball Alberta brought in a rule for a player transfer rule that has focused on players staying in their local zone, city, you want to call it. This has allowed us obviously to develop our A program and also justify the spending on our training, our facilities, and just to do that much more to develop our program the way we want it to be. That has been a problem for us in the past, so now we're trying to tackle that, and it's going very, very well for us. So our Ryan, next slide there. Thank you, sir. Speaking of the facilities, Corey touched on the Turf Training Center. The new field house in Beaumont is amazing. I was also in there this weekend running our winter camps with them. That is something we haven't had before in Beaumont. We started off in gyms and curling rinks playing on concrete and hardwood, which is, as we all know, isn't the best for softball. With this new turf, we have the opportunity to give them simulated training, which really helps for their development. It allows them to learn how a ball will bounce properly here and there, and it's just a really good investment that the city of Beaumont made, and we're very happy to have it. Next slide. Right now, we are currently using in Beaumont, we have 4 seasons, number 4 and 5. Last year, we had access to Bow Meadows and Bellevue as well. And just because of our numbers, we've had to rent out the Raleigh View Diamonds, number 1 and number 2. And we fill those every year. We are capped just like everybody else. And last year, our U8s, our Timbits program, we just popped up, invested in a backstop to put up in the green space just off the Colonial Diamonds down by the school. And our girls were playing there. So we are very excited for this new West Rec Center, because it will be opening up a lot of opportunities for all of us. So I'll let Corey jump onto the next slide here.
Yeah, for sure, Brian. You've kind of touched on it. I mean, we've long awaited some new facilities, so we're very encouraged by the West Recreation area and how that's coming. As you can see, I mean, we've had baseball, had the diamonds, and we had a little green space, but we were fine with that. We made it work and bought ourselves a pop-up backstop, and the kids still had a really good time, had a lot of fun. So, but with the new recreation area, we're really encouraged that that's just going to continue growing our program and help us continue to have lots of little fastball players running around all over the place. So. And yeah, so now with this, you know, the city of Beaumont has the opportunity to have some equitable diamond space between Blitz fastball and the Bow Sox. I think it's going to go a long way to continuing to grow both programs, actually. So I'm very encouraged by it. I'm really looking forward to it.
Okay.
Next slide, Ryan. Is this one yours, Brian, or mine? Sorry, I can't remember.
So that's all you, Corey.
Oh, it's me? Okay. Yeah, so just looking at the West Recreation site, you know, Brian and Ryan have done a lot of work talking with their counterparts in the city, looking at the design of the diamonds and the sizing and everything like that. So, you know, to be able to host, hopefully host some provincials, you know, and host tournaments in town is very exciting. You know, all the girls are very proud of their association. They want other teams to come to our town and our city and be able to see Beaumont and play ball here, so that they don't always have to travel out for tournaments, but they can play some tournaments at home. So pretty excited about that. And you know, looking at slow pitch as well can benefit from the two larger diamonds. And but yeah, so we just wanted to say we're very excited about the new West Recreation.
Yeah, absolutely. I will. We'll let Ryan take on to this part here. So Ryan, if you want to touch on this.
You bet. We've been talking a lot with Paul and Cheryl from the planning committee to come up with a game plan for this unprecedented sponsorship program to equip these fields with the tools to attract the major events, such as Canada's men's softball, who we found out today would like to host their Western tryout. So that's Saskatchewan, Alberta, and BC at our new facility. This event and prior mentioned provincials, like Corey was talking about just a minute ago, will be just the beginning. Our also on a side note, our coaching staff would like to play a game against the town council members if they're up for it, and possibly a couple of ringers so we can fill in your team at the new diamonds once they're all ready to go.
Definitely need some ringers, at least in my case.
We have a few in our program. We can hook you up, no problem. And then to accomplish all this, we have found sponsors with the enthusiasm and energy we need to make this endeavor a success. And there's a lot of work ahead, and we can't wait to get started. And we should have more information about our sponsorship program here in the next couple of days from Cheryl and the planning committee.
Is that we're good there, Ryan? Or?
Yep, that was me.
Okay, we're on the last one there. Okay, so that
actually,
was,
Brian, if you could just go back one slide there, Ryan.
Yeah,
there's a part at the bottom there. So, so just as a note, so there's a lot of Blitz alum and coaching staff and affiliates that have gone to the higher levels in softball that it bears mentioning. You know, we have had provincial champions come out of Beaumont. We've had some of our girls go off to play in Westerns with other teams. Some have played summer games. Some have played Alberta summer games. Some have played Canada summer games. Some have gone to nationals and even the North American Indigenous games. So I just wanted to make mention of that. And we've had some really great success with some of them getting MVP awards at nationals, etc. One of our coaches from Beaumont was Alberta Softball Coach of the Year. So we've got a great deal of talent in this community, and very encouraged to see it grow to the level that we all think it can. So,
yes, thank you for touching on that, Corey. That's very, very important as well. We have a very good future coming for our program. A lot of young talent. We very, very excited for what we're building, and that just leads us right into our next one here. This wouldn't be possible, obviously, without all our parents, our volunteers, the city providing us places to play, even the girls' effort that are put into it. It's beyond something we could ever imagine. So a great big thank you to everybody who's put in anything into our success right now, what we have. So that wraps up our presentation. Once again, thank you guys, and we'll open it up to questions for you.
Well, thank you very much for coming in tonight and putting the slide presentation together. It is really nice to see when residents are in Beaumont and our sports associations are succeeding at such a high level. And trying to be able to accommodate the needs is exactly the reason that council has put this West recreational area together, and we hope it will at least start to meet some of them. But Beaumont, as you probably know, is the 5th fastest growing city in Canada, so we might have caught up a little bit, but we're definitely going to need to do more in the future still. Like I said to a couple other people in the past, I love to partner with groups. So once you're ready to present your sponsorship idea, keep in touch with Paul and Cheryl, and we're happy to consider it. And we're happy to consider partnerships as we move forward. Your presentation is really comprehensive, so I don't personally have any questions on it, but I will open it up to members of City Council for questions and comment.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Danluck.
Thanks, Mayor Stewart. Sorry, guys, my mute button kind of went off on me there. So thanks for the presentation. Great information. Do you have any idea how your program is going in the next next 3 to 5 years in terms of number of new girls coming into Beaumont? How big your program might get to be in the next, say, 3 to 5 years? You're growing very quickly now. I realize that. How is your growth potential? What are you expecting for growth? Pardon me.
Right now we are looking at about, hopefully in the next 3 to 5 years, I would rather like to have it at about 250 to 300 girls. We're targeting all of the elementary schools in these past few weeks, last years, not just weeks, but we've been targeting all the young ones wherever we can to get our base growing as fast as we can, and then developing them as they come up.
Okay, perfect. My next question and last question right now, Mayor Stewart, thank you. You mentioned, gentlemen, in your presentation, possibly provincials could come to Beaumont with the 2 new diamonds. So can you host provincial with the 2 diamonds we're building in the west area there?
It would take all 4 of the diamonds to have that work properly. I did speak with Softball Alberta when this project became available to us and requested if this is something we could host, and they would be more than happy to allocate us the next year's provincials.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much for presenting. I'll pull in more questions for later.
Next year in terms of 2022?
Yes, not this season, next season.
Because I was going to say, because construction hasn't even started yet. It's going to be tight this year.
We got to break ground first. Give us a minute, will you?
Well, I like to be exciting. I like to think positive. So,
as we all do. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely.
Thanks. Councillor Stout, followed by Councillor Barnhart, followed by Councillor Munkoff Swain, followed by Councillor Van Newkirk.
Quite the list.
Quite the list. Councillor Stout, you're up.
Sounds a bit like a baseball team.
We like to call it softball.
Really appreciated the presentation. That was a good presentation, good overview. Gave me a lot of perspective and information and understanding that I didn't have before, because I'm not a ball player, never have been, and you probably guessed that even just listening to my voice. In fact, I was thinking that if we did get this council versus baseball coaches game going, then I think if the council team has to have ringers, then I think I should play for the baseball coaches team, because I think it would be a serious handicap for you.
Oh, we can consider that.
Absolutely.
Thank you. One quick question. You referred to having a pop-up backstop on an open field somewhere. Where exactly is that? Where was that?
That was over by Colonial.
In Colonial, and yeah. I take it then. I'm going to be positive here, and take it then that when the 4 new baseball diamonds open, you won't need that anymore, or will you still be using it?
No, that's correct. We should be able to put those little girls on shale now. So
yeah, because that I think would be very much the desired outcome. All right, that was all. That was the only question I had. Thank you. Appreciate the overview.
Thank you, sir.
No problem.
Thank you. I think you said Councillor Barnhart, but I was hearing a dog, so I wasn't sure if
No, you're up.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you, Ryan and Brian and Corey. Great presentation. Unlike Councillor Stout, I grew up playing baseball in New York City. And at a time when girls had to sneak in and pretend that they were boys by the clothes that they were wearing so that they could play the game. So I really appreciate what you're doing for girls here in Beaumont, and I love it. And this is just a question, you might have touched on it already, but the age range of your teams, how old is the oldest? And are the ladies fastball playing with you, or are they still with ABMA or BMBA or whatever it's called? Anybody?
Yeah, so our programs begins at what we call U8, so it's under 8, and then currently goes up to I believe this will be the first year that we will actually have a U16 team, so that'll be girls of 15 to 14 age. We don't have ladies softball in Beaumont. There is a ladies league in Edmonton, and they usually play over on John Fry on the south side.
And you led into another question that I have. Okay, there were two kinds of baseball when I was growing up, going back a long way, softball and baseball.
Correct.
You're talking fastball. Is fastball the same as baseball, or is that another sport?
Softball. No, they call it softball. We're a little proud. It's not soft. If you get hit with one, it's still.
It looks soft. No.
So
Yeah.
and,
It hurts.
and the speed that our girls can pitch, some of them it's fastball. So that's why we've it's kind of in the community. It's known as either fastball or softball. So
Okay, so
baseball
it's
is baseball, but
right.
yeah, windmill. Yeah. So
Okay. Thank you for that, and good luck. I love what you're doing. Thank you.
no problem.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor, if I could add to that, if Councillor Kathy Barnhart would like to come out after the game and come and try out as one of our coaches with all that previous experience, we'd love to have her out.
It's been a long time, but maybe.
There we go. That'll be awesome.
Coaches are hard to come by, so recruit when you can.
Yep,
Yeah.
I'll
exactly.
consider it.
Always
Thank
on the
Councillor Van Newkirk, followed by Councillor Montgomery.
Sounds good. Yeah, thank you. Mayor, I just wanted to take a quick moment here to acknowledge the letter that we received from on behalf of Beaumont Minor Ball and Beaumont Blitz. And thank you guys for putting that together. In that letter, it did reaffirm the support for the consultation that occurred over the last 8 months in the diamonds in the current configuration and construction in 2021. There was kind of a paragraph per group, I guess, and the Blitz side of things, what council understands, heard, and continues to understand is that timing is very critical. And I just wanted to acknowledge that again. And I see 3 heads nodding up and down. So, I just wanted to acknowledge that yet again. Last meeting, we did the same. And then for Beaumont Minor Ball, again, we've put a letter of support out there, and they're working with the Jays Care Foundation. And if there is falters in that timeline, their application is looking for April to October this year. So, if there is falters in that timeline, that does put the application with the Jays Care Foundation at risk. And I can assure you that myself and likely council do not want to be in a position to have that happen. So, we're going to continue to do everything that we can from the council side to get sod turning here. And, we'll continue to look to administration to advance this project along as quickly as possible. So thank you.
I appreciate that. I'll just touch on that very, very quickly because we're here to support the town. Obviously, that's our main goal. We want to work with you guys and do as much as we can. I've been working with our Edmonton League to schedule all of our home games early in the season so we can be out of your guys' hair, and Diamond 4 and 5 can go down for construction as soon as they can, just so you guys are aware of that. So we're working on that schedule, and as soon as that's available for you, we'll have it to you.
We do appreciate that. Anything you can do to help us get this project rolling, we will definitely gratefully accept the help.
Absolutely, sir. Not a problem.
Thank you very much.
Councillor Montgomery.
Yeah, thanks, and I appreciate it. I'm last on the go here, but so thanks for the presentation. The slide that spoke to me the most, and I know you weren't comparing because you've got some great collaboration with the Beaumont Minor Baseball, but the slide showing the boys on the diamonds and the girls in the field is not lost on me. So looking forward to to an opportunity where we can have that more equitable area for folks to play. So I appreciated that. I was going to reinforce Councillor Van Nieuwkerk's comments. We're looking at the West Acres, and we're all excited about that. There are other projects that are going on, as you know, that are going to impact 4 and 5, and we've talked to you at length about the importance of lining up that construction. And so just flagging next week, next council meeting is when we're going to get more of an update, public update around the construction schedule. For those, we won't be discussing any decisions in terms of costs or anything like that. It's more just a construction schedule update. So that'll be a good one to tune into, or at least check in an update on that. So in short, really appreciate your work. Looking forward to playing in whatever game we have. That's going to be exciting. As you may know, New Zealand, the current reigning champions of world softball. So we're pretty excited back home for that sort of stuff. We're hosting the World Championships in 2022, so maybe you guys can come on down. So anyway, we'll leave it there, worship, and you really appreciate the collaboration you guys are bringing forward on this project. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Ooh, I see Councillor Dan. You got a quick one, Councillor?
Yeah, real quick. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, thanks very much. Again, guys, appreciate your presentation and looking forward to having these 4 diamonds built as soon as possible this year. One last quick question. By having these diamonds available to your program, how much will you save in not renting diamonds outside Beaumont? You can reinvest in your program and help your program for coaching and so on. How much will you be saving by having you guys play all your games and practices here in Beaumont? Just curious on that. What's your expenses for renting?
That generally we pay to all of you just under $1,500 for 2 months.
Okay, good enough. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. I'd like to say, really do appreciate you coming in. It's an exciting program, very successful, and anything we can do to help you continue with your success is what we're here to do. So appreciate it. Keep it up, and yeah, like I say, keep working with our administration, and we'll see where we go from here. Appreciate it.
If you guys would
Thank
like
you, Mr. Mayor.
to put
Thank
on
you,
a link to
Council.
the camp to help you guys with skills, we can do that.
All right,
Okay.
so we've been now seated for just over an hour. We'll take a quick 10-minute break, come back at, well, I'll call it 8-minute break, and come back at 7:15. Welcome back after a quick break. Call the meeting back to order. We are now at business item 8A, event opportunity, National Road Cycling Championships 2022-2023. Letter of support. Who from Mr. Dollar?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and members of council. Before council this evening, administration has brought forward an event opportunity that has presented itself to administration. Very quickly and at a high level, Edmonton Triathlon has approached the City of Beaumont administration to inquire as to our possible support of an event that they're placing a bid in for. The event that they're placing the bid in for is on the 2022-23 Canadian, excuse me, Canadian Cycling Championship. And as part of that event, they are wondering again as to the City of Beaumont's interest in supporting a portion of that event, specifically the time trial around the city. And as city administration has evaluated this opportunity, there's obviously some significant benefits for the city in terms of attraction. A number of athletes would be coming to the city as well as family, friends, and then there would be some national exposure potentially as part of this. The other kind of key piece that city administration through some initial conversations has identified is an opportunity for members of the community and the city to participate in a come and try it kind of event in terms of exposing this city and citizens to cycling. Similar to some things that were done previously, as I understand it, with the Tour of Alberta. And so at this time, all that is required from council this evening is a vote on an indication of support for providing a letter of support to proceed with naming Beaumont as a potential partner in this event attraction or event opportunity with Edmonton Triathlon. And just in terms of timelines here, Edmonton Triathlon needs to complete the bid package by March 15th. So that's why the kind of last minute agenda item and report in front of council this evening. And the expectation would be a determination of the successful bid sometime in April, May of this year. So we should find out fairly shortly. Lastly, there isn't any anticipated financial support required, direct financial support. What likely happens in these kinds of situations, of course, is there would be some support required by city administration, not expecting that to be anything that would be required beyond what's in our current budgets. But if there was, as we move through the process, if council is supportive of moving forward with this, we would certainly identify any kind of financial requirements as part of the 22 budget process in the fall of 2021. And with that, be happy to answer any questions council may have.
No, we do appreciate that. I think it's a great opportunity to showcase our city. Before we open up for discussion and questions, is there a member of council willing to move the motion that council provide a letter of support to City of Beaumont to support the Edmonton Triathlon in their bid to host the National Canadian Road Cycling Championships in 2022-23? Councillor Martin Stout, your hand is up first in my far corner. So.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yes, I'd certainly be willing to move that. It's
okay. Appreciate that. So we'll open it up for questions and we'll give you a first crack at questions and comment if you want.
Well, yeah, you've said most of the comments I would have said, which is basically, it seems to me an ideal opportunity to showcase the city to tourists and as a feature attraction. At this stage, there appears to be very little cost involved. And certainly we'd have time to reconsider it if that proved not to be the case. So it seems to me there's a lot to be gained and little to be lost at this point. I did have a question, which is, do we know the time trial portion? Do we know what the distance of the course is? Do we? I'm trying to get some kind of feel for where that would be. That's not just going to be confined to Beaumont, is it? Beaumont will presumably would be the start and end point, and the cyclist would be looping around somewhere, presumably into the county.
Stellar.
I don't have the specific kilometers, Councillor Stout, but you are correct in what I saw today. Very quickly, it does look like there is a bit of a loop out to the east. And then back into the city. So I would imagine the idea, of course, would be the start finish of the time trial would be in the city center in some location, but certainly going out on the county roads or some of the secondary roads, looping back into the city.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, there was allusion made to the Tour d'Alberto, which went out on 510 somewhere east, and then got itself further north onto 520. But yeah, some of those routes were 100 kilometers and more, and I don't think they'd be doing as much as that this time. Just trying to get a feel for what the actual event would look and feel like. Thank you.
Great. Councillor Barnhart.
Thank you, Mayor. And I too really would love to see this here. I'm just a little concerned about that weekend. And I'm just wondering, Mr. Dowler, I'm guessing that is the weekend. There's no changing that. But wonder if the administration could comment on whether that conflicts with the Beaumont Town and Country Days, as well as, perhaps the community events committee can look at that in terms of dates and times. And just wondering how, I know this is far in advance, but it's really tough on volunteers when, you know, they've got something planned for years in advance, whether it's a midway or something else. And then something like shiny like this comes in and we push everything aside and do this instead. That upsets me and it upsets them. So I just wonder if you have any thoughts about how we might manage that.
Yeah, it's certainly a fair comment, Councillor Barnard, and I do recall seeing in some of the high level information I did receive today, is there does seem to be some flexibility on the timing, specifically the date in terms of the road race portion. And so if we were running into some conflicts, I think there is some flexibility there on that side of the equation. I do share some of those same concerns. I think specifically as it relates to road closures, there can be some disruption, and depending on the timing of the events too is the other kind of factor that comes into place. You know, if a race takes place early in the day, you know, there may be less disruption. So I think those are all pieces that are still to be determined, and certainly something for administration to keep in mind as we progress. And if we are in fact part of a successful bid, then we'll work out some of those further details.
Okay, well, thank you. And I do think it's an exciting opportunity, but I would want to make sure we have some way of adjusting it to fit our needs as well.
Point. Okay, seeing no further requests to speak. Once again, I'll close debate and call the question. I think this is a great opportunity for our city, and I think we should support it. So all in favor? And that carries unanimously. So yeah, hopefully we will hear some good news in April, May. Thank you, Mr. Dollar. That brings us to item 9A, bylaw 9921-21, operating line of credit borrowing bylaw, third reading. Mr. DeBlanco.
Good evening to the mayor and council. This evening, I'm bringing forth a borrowing bylaw for an operating line of credit for third reading. At a high level, admin is seeking to improve the city's treasury management practices, including investment strategies for our idle reserve balances. These investment strategies will increase the return the city receives on its balances, although it will reduce the city's liquid cash. And reducing the liquid cash available will require an operating line of credit to be available to address any potential unforeseen operating expenditures outside of projected annual cash flow. The bylaw provides for up to $10 million to be drawn throughout the year in the event it's required. This temporary borrowing bylaw has a maximum term of 3 years. So a bylaw amendment will be presented to council prior to December 31st, 2024. As stated previously, the budget impact from this, having this available, are anticipated to improve the city's treasury management and increase the yield on reserve balances. I can take any questions you have at this time. Thanks.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much, Mr. Blanco. At this time, I'm prepared to move third reading. We'll open it up for questions and comments from members of council. Seeing none, call the question. All in favor? And that carries unanimously. Thank you very much, Mr. DeBlanco. I really do appreciate all the hard work and efforts that's gone into not only this bylaw, but the investment strategies for our reserves that are coming up. So appreciate it. Brings us to councillor inquiries and reports. We'll start with councillor inquiries. Do members of council have questions for administration this evening? Councillor Barnhart, followed by councillor Munkoff-Swain, followed by councillor Van Duker.
Thank you very much, Mayor. And I do have one inquiry, and that would be, would the administration be able to provide me with a date as to when there's going to be an update on the social master plan and when that will be provided? And I appreciate that if we're not able to get that tonight, I would certainly like to hear it in the next week or so. The date, not the report, the date.
Yes, thank you very much, Councillor Barnhart. I appreciate the heads up on this one. I did try to get a date. Ms. Williston is leading this project, and as you know, she's off right now with some support from Emily in planning, but I'll get a date to you in the next couple of days. I should be able to get that all together.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Councillor Mungo Swain.
Yeah, thanks, Worship. Question just around our transit system. So obviously we're not operating right now. So kind of a two-part question. Just curious on when administration might be bringing back within any of the stages that the province has identified, when they might be bringing back a decision for council on when we may be reopening that. And then the second part is around the bus on demand conversation we had a little while back. Just wonder if you could give some timelines around kind of next steps around that, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Councillor Markov Swain. I'm not sure, are you hearing me? Because I'm having connection problems all of a sudden. Can you hear me?
Yep, we got
Most
you.
of your screen. Okay, I'm going to keep going here. Most of you are frozen on my screen. If I understand, I only got parts of your first part of your question. If I understood it, it was what are we doing with the commuter service and when we're getting it back up and running. As with the current measures that are in place, our plan is to bring a report back to council when step 4 opens up with the province's path forward. We believe at that point in time there'll be enough ridership as places will be almost wide open. We think that's a good time to bring back that decision to council. Anybody get any of that?
Yep. Your step 4 coming back to council.
Everything's.
The follow-up question, and Mike, appreciate if you can. Maybe Mike Dalla, if you can pinch hit. I don't know if you know the answer or not. Just around bus on demand and when that might be coming back.
We just lost the CAO. Hang on. Yeah, if you can. If not, maybe we'll get CAO to reconnect.
Hey,
maybe
sorry, I think I had. Yeah. Should I go ahead on the second question?
Sure, if you got us.
Okay. If I understood the second question, and that was what's the status of the bus on demand. When we went out with the commuter the RFP, we also sent out a non-binding RFP to get an idea of what service providers are out there and what they'd be willing to charge us. From that point, and we did have a successful applicant, so we're working with them now to put together a proposal to bring to council, and we're probably a couple or 3 weeks away from bringing that proposal, but certainly the plan is the late part of March or the first part of April. We don't have a budget for bus on demand, and it is an extra service, so that's something we need to bring back to council for your decision. I hope you got any of that.
We got it all. Thanks, Mike. Really appreciate the update on that. Thank you.
Councillor Van Newkirk.
Yeah, thank you. Just more of a comment, I would say, with the warm weather that we've had. As I'm driving around the community, I'm really seeing the fruits of the snow removal that we did this winter. Snow is melting right to the gutters, and I don't see steam vac and hydrovac units around the community steaming out, and those are costs that we used to bear in managing the spring runoff and all that kind of stuff. And with the switch in snow removal strategy, we're not seeing those. So I think that's a really good win for Beaumont and residents. So just a quick comment on that. Mike, a question for the CAO would be, have you received much feedback around any ponding, pooling, flooding, or have those calls decreased too? I think they would, but.
No, that's a very good point. We haven't been receiving the volume of calls, and you're right, it was some of the efforts that were made to do things differently this year, and Mother Nature's been a bit of a help for us as well, as we all have experienced. But yeah, it's been good all around. But thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, thank you. That's all, Mayor.
Thank you very much. So open it up to members of council wishing to make a statement this evening. Seeing none. Okay, well, brings us to item 11, the CAO's updates.
Okay, I think I got my internet problems worked out, but if I haven't, somebody, well, I guess you can't tell me anyway. I'll try and be brief here. As you know, the province opened stage 2 earlier this week. I was on a call yesterday. I was on a call this week today with Dr. Sikora of Alberta Health Services, and he started the call by saying, okay, first of all, I want to clarify that we didn't even know we were going to stage 2. So that's Alberta Health not communicating with Alberta Health Services. So again, just sharing some of the frustration has been, and people are doing their best, don't get me wrong. Beaumont numbers really quickly. In the past 24 hours, we recorded 2 additional cases and we had 1 additional recovery. So we're currently sitting at 18. We are second in the cases per 100,000 in the Edmonton zone. Edmonton is ahead with 96, and we're second with 89 per 100,000. Now that's something that our population, I've said this before, works against us because 1 or 2 cases can affect us significantly more than Edmonton can. But in the same respect, a month ago, we were reporting numbers of 580 per 100,000. So we're certainly dropped down considerably. And of course, great news on the vaccinations beginning tomorrow. Those in the age group of 50 to 64 can register to get their shot. They're doing it by birth year. So tomorrow is 1957 is the year if you were born, and you have an opportunity to get the AstraZeneca vaccine. I'd like to announce that administration has approved a request to add Royer Way as an honorary name to 47th Avenue, and that's west of 36th Street. We've got a number of examples of these in our city. It doesn't change the official address or the mailing address of the homes that are located there, and obviously for emergency notification, but we will put up an additional sign and we will recognize that that portion of the road is now called Royer Way. The Royer name, is on our official names list, and the application was made to acknowledge the contribution that the Royer family did for the city of Beaumont. In particular, Mr. Dennis Royer, a prominent home builder, as we know, he built all of the homes they built all of the homes in this particular cul-de-sac. So we will do some communications and some marketing around that as well. And I guess the only other thing I would like to add is on the project on 241. If you recall, we're doing the upgrade on the road, paving that road. The end design of that road includes a connector trail that runs north and south. But due to the allocations between the developer and the city right now, we do not have the width to be able to build that trail on this portion of the road. So we need to go back and do some more negotiations to get some more pieces of land to finish that trail. The trail wouldn't go anywhere right now, but didn't want to slow down the construction. So we're just going to park the notion of the trail until we can get more property, and we're going to continue with the construction of that road. Those are the items that I had for tonight. I hope you got any of it because everybody's frozen on my screen. Thank you.
No, we do appreciate that. Yeah, it seems to be doing fairly well, so we can't complain. I see Councillor Barnhart's hands up. We don't normally do questions here, but we'll sneak it in.
I'm sorry, but Mr. Schwartz, I was just wondering about the vaccinations in Beaumont. Are any of them taking place in the pharmacies?
No, AHS has not reached out to us as of yet, but when that happens, we will get that community. I fully expect it to happen, but just not yet.
I hope so. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the update, CAO. Appreciate it. We have no items of correspondence. Are there any members of council wishing to make a notice motion this evening? Councillor Barnhart. You're on mute.
Sorry, I'm making a lot of noise today. I apologize for that. Yes, I have a notice of motion, Your Worship. Moved that the administration bring forward a report to council as soon as it is reasonable on the progress we've made and the goals we are striving to achieve on inclusion and diversity in our city. And I've given that to the city clerk already.
Okay, thank you. That was my one comment for you. But yes, we will accept that notice of motion and look forward to seeing that one on the next council agenda. Any other councillors wishing to make a notice of motion this evening? Okay, seeing none, can I get a motion to move into closed session? Councillor Danluck. Sorry, Councillor.
So moved, Your Worship. Thank you.
Discussion on the motion? Councillor Stout. Sorry, hands up, hand down. Seeing no discussion, call the question. All in favor? Okay, so that passes unanimously. So we're going to move into closed session. So we'll just wait. To the members of the public that are watching, we've just completed item 14A, closed session, economic development opportunity update. There's no business arising from the closed session item, and therefore it brings us to the end of the meeting tonight. And I'd like to thank members of council and administration for another great meeting, some great discussions. And we will consider this meeting adjourned, and we will see you all at Deputy Mayor Daniluk's first committee of the whole meeting next week. Thank you very much.